Richards from J Gold Finance Suite, and welcome to another edition of Business Owners Inspiring Other Business Owners. And today we've got a guest that really hits home. Many of you know my background is in home care, and today we've got somebody in that space with lots of experience and lots of stories, and I'm excited to learn more from him and about his business. So, Julio, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Puma. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah,
What's the name of your company first?
it's actually Briones Consulting Group. Yeah, we're right here in not so sunny Somerville, New Jersey.
And what kind of consulting do you do? What
Uh,
is it that you do?
We are home care growth strategists. All right. So what we do is we generally help home care agency owners that want to either increase their existing private pay revenue or they're trying to transition from a government payer source model into the private pay model. And it doesn't matter if it's home care, home health, ambulance services. It's all about the strategy behind how to do it, setting prices, where your caregivers live, how to set up your territory, things like that.
Yeah, I remember when I was working as a division director for a home care agency. I would break down where the caregivers actually
Yeah.
lived, and then where our cases, right, and
Yeah.
how far did they have to drive and
hmm
stuff like that. And sounds like you do very similar.
Yeah, I take it, I do that, and I take it actually one step further. I use because I used to sit on a couple of labor boards here in New Jersey and on the federal level for the U.S. Department of Labor, and so I really am a numbers geek. Okay, so I understand the key differences between what a private pay caregiver is versus a Medicaid caregiver. Like, I'll just shoot an example out at you. For example, most people don't understand that 72% of all caregivers in the home care CNA space, they work for government billing agencies, and that's where they want to stay. So who makes up that 18%, that 28%? That's who we got to target. And like I said, it doesn't matter to me. We use demographics, analytics, and we break it down that way. And the same thing with the clients. Like, who are we targeting and why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in this?
Oh, wow. Well, way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and I was 15 years old, I was hanging out with some people that I probably shouldn't have been. And my mother was like, "You're getting off the street." And she used to work for a home care agency as an office manager. And she talked to her boss. This is back in the 90s, where before cameras, before labor laws were enforced the same way as they are now. And they were like, "Okay, well, every day after school, this is your job and you're going to be a recruiter." And over the years, and for the next few years, that's what I did. I left for the army. I came back years later, found myself actually owning a couple of clothing stores, and my father got sick. So when my father got sick, we actually put him into a Care One, up in Teaneck, and he was deteriorating. It was unfortunately brain cancer. May he rest in peace. And it became overwhelming. If you ever dealt with somebody with any cognitive issue, like brain cancer appears a lot like dementia.
Yeah.
He got violent. He got unmanageable. So we had to hire an agency, and this agency did such a horrible job that I actually just went back into the business and I started doing office management and sales. And eventually, I moved into the world of franchising. And, that's pretty much all she wrote at that point. In 2015, I started Briones Consulting Group to help people grow their business and improve the quality of their service. And that's where we are. 70 agencies later, here I am.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you and I were chatting a little bit before we
Yeah.
started that home care is the place to be, right? With the
Yeah.
baby boomers,
Mhm.
they have made it very loud and clear that they want to stay in the home as long as
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
going into the nursing homes is going to be more on a fact where they have no other option. That
Yeah.
the home care can't take care of them. It's
Right.
They're much more high acuity cases in those situations, and so it's great that you've been able to get into this industry at the booming time, right?
Mhm.
And see it grow and help it grow. And like you, I have found there is a difference in the agencies. There's really good ones
Yeah.
and poor ones. There's not a whole lot in the middle,
Yeah.
out there that I at least that I've come across.
I agree. Like I said, I've done this all over the country. I've done this in, places like Canada and England and stuff, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You either have everybody competing at the really low level, all right, where there's no real competition, there's no competitive difference, and then you have people that are way up here, that top 5%, top 10% performers. And people think that it's a dollars and cents thing at that level, and it's not. It's a service. It's a service issue.
Yeah,
That's all it is. The more the agency owner cares about who they're hiring, how they're performing their services, and what their internals look like, those are the ones that you're going to see making, 3, 4, 5 million, even 10, 12 million on the private pay side, because people are going to flock to where the better service is, even when it's double the price.
right.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Yeah.
definitely a service that you get what you pay
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
And if there's an agency out there that's going to lowball, you and shoot
Mhm.
the number real low, buyer beware.
Run. Yeah, run. Run fast and run far. Yeah.
So, as a business owner, right? We're inundated with so much, and especially in the home care space. I mean,
Yeah.
I lived in that space for many years, running my own agency, and there were so many pieces to that puzzle that made it up. Number one, it's a 24/7 business.
Yeah.
A lot of it you can't control, like weather and cars and
Mhm.
caregivers and then what happens in the home, right? Dogs and heating
Yeah.
and air conditioning and other, just other hoarding, all that, right? And so I think as a business owner, especially in the home care space, we're inundated with challenges almost on a daily basis. But you
Mhm.
know, certainly with COVID, all of that, can you, as a business owner, maybe talk about a challenging time that really, you know, made you question, am I in the right, business here?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. Well, for me, I'm gonna tell you, my biggest challenge, it wasn't even starting out, because when I was starting out, I mean, we're talking about 7 years ago now. In June, it'll be 7 years that I opened up this business. In the beginning, it was easy, all right? I already had a lot of connections. I was in the industry for so many years. I would literally just walk into doors of home care agency owners and say, "Hey, listen, this is the service I provide. Give me 10 minutes and I'll find you $15,000. And if I can't, we call it a day." And it was very simple to come in and do that sales pitch. I would do a quick analysis of their systems, how they're operating things. We'd sign up and keep it moving. COVID. COVID was a very interesting time for me, because I went literally, and it was devastating for my business. I went from a staff of about 5 other people that were on my team doing various different functions, to just me, because I couldn't get out there anymore to walk into a home care agency. I couldn't meet with my clients the way that you would think. And then on top of that, we had to add the second layer of challenge to this. So many people were sitting bored at home during COVID that all of the sudden everybody became a consultant. You know, and from about March of 2020, I'm gonna say up until about February, March of 2021, I saw my competitive field expand, and I was at a disadvantage, because I knew very little about Facebook marketing. Nobody really on the internet space, nobody heard of me, because I didn't have a need for it, because I'm a door-to-door guy. If I can get in front of you, I can show you on your own numbers how you're bleeding money out, and I can help you fix that. We have a deal going. Can't do that as simply as you can in person. You can't do it online. I
Yeah.
cannot write a Facebook ad. I cannot write a LinkedIn post that's going to show you, hey, here's that money that I'm going to charge you, you know, so that it comes out to a net break even. You can't do that. And cold calling became difficult because no one was in the office. So
Right.
what do? You have to learn to adapt. You have to completely change your business model. And this was so dire for me that it got to the point where it became difficult to pay my mortgage. But, thank God I was able to sit, and I had to hire a consultant myself and figure out how to get my business back up and off the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing and being vulnerable about that. That means a lot as a business
Mhm.
owner, and you're not the only one. And that's the
Yeah.
inspiration for these podcasts. Is we've all faced challenges,
Yeah.
that have made us question why are we in this business. So, what got you through it? I mean, what said, okay, I'm going to push through, and everything.
Honestly, as corny as it's gonna sound, my wife. I am very blessed to have an extremely loving and understanding wife that, you know, even when times are tough, she doesn't sit there and say, "Well, go get a job." She's like, "Hey, listen, we're gonna get through it. Keep going. You've had success in the past. We just got to find a new way." And having that encouragement and that support system in my home kept my family's spirits up, my kids' spirits up, and it allowed for things to move forward
Yeah.
properly, and to where we are now.
When I talk with business owners, especially new ones or ones that are thinking about going into their business, I that's something I bring up is what's your support system look
Yeah,
like? Have you had these conversations with your partner or your spouse and the kids? My son always grew up understanding that, if I take a call in the middle of dinner, it's not because I
mhm,
don't have an interest in him or
right,
what. That's how daddy makes money,
right,
you
that's how
know?
we eat.
Right,
Yep,
and that's the level of service I expect and I wanna give.
right,
So, I think it's really important that everybody on the same side of it,
mhm,
be on the same side, as a unit, and because they have an investment in your business as well, right?
right, right. I mean, most of us, wouldn't even have a business if we didn't have the drive of our loved ones to wanna do better for them. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
so
So, Julio, how can people get in touch with you, and your services?
well, the easiest way is just go to my website. It's very simple, thebrionesgroup.com. You know, Briones group. All right.
Oh,
That would be the easiest way, but you can find us on all the normal platforms. Quick Google search, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can actually just connect with me directly on LinkedIn if you guys want, and be more than happy to have a conversation and help you guys out.
great. Well, this was fantastic. I really appreciate your time and sharing your story with the group. We'll definitely have to have you back on because I think we just, absolutely touched just a tiny bit of
Mhm.
this, and we can learn so much more from you. So thank you, and you have a fantastic. Oh, by the way, thank you for your service. We do have Memorial Day coming up this weekend, so thank you
Thank
and
you.
all the veterans out there.